Diagnose people in 20 minutes or less. Third, generic medicines. They transform the AIDS response by cutting costs to just $1 a day. That brought treatment to millions of people. Fourth, international finance. Countries came forward with the funding, like PEPFAR, the United States President's emergency plan for AIDS relief. Many donor countries have supported the global funds to fight AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria. The world has proven that when we come together, we can transform lives. But the gains are inadequate and fragile. More than half of all people living with HIV still lack access to treatment. Many people cannot afford the new generation of treatments for AIDS, hepatitis C, and other non-communicable diseases like cancer. There is not enough research and development on neglected and rare diseases. Tuberculosis is the leading cause of death for people living with HIV. But there have been almost no new medicines to treat it in years. The bigger health picture is worrying. We are reactively addressing threats like Ebola and Zika. Antimicrobial resistance is a major threat that could kill as many as 10 million people a year by 2050. If we fail to act, the world has a blueprint for a better future. The 2030 Sustainable Development Goals are our ambitious and achievable vision of a life of dignity for all people. If we want to provide universal health coverage by 2030, we have to break down barriers to treatment. And we need to develop treatments for tuberculosis, neglected tropical diseases, and other unmet needs. I established the high-level panel on access to medicines to address these issues. I have asked it to make recommendations for a coherent set of policies that addresses the rights of inventors, international human rights law, trade rules, and public health. I thank former Presidents Madame Ruth Dreyfus of Switzerland and Festus Mohay of Botswana for their leadership. I am confident that the 16 panel members will bring their best energy and expertise to this complex and sensitive task. I look forward to their report. Its recommendations can affect millions of people. When we give them the best possible global response to AIDS, they will help build our common future. I thank you.
Thank you, Secretary General, for those inspiring remarks. It's now my pleasure to hand over to Madame Ruth Dreyfus, who is the co-chair of the high-level panel and the former president of the Swiss Federation. Madame Dreyfus.